Hey everyone, it's really great to be with you all, and this is just a really special, comforting moment to be with family and friends and people who all shared really incredible, funny memories with Steve. And I was just thinking about which story I would tell because there are so many. I was going to ask my former colleagues over here which one I should take out of the vault. Well, I was gonna do an airport story. There were so many of those because, as we knew, Steve was a bit of a loud talker. He didn't suffer from the same voice problem that Tim does, but I think I'm going to tell a different story because it is still a good Steve travel story. So, the great thing about Steve was he would just run with all the creativity. He would just get shit done. He would make more progress in such a short amount of time than anybody that I knew when it came to creating great radio stations. And so he would do that. He would, Kim and Rob and John and all my friends when we worked together at Cox, we'd all used to talk about how you just needed to let Steve do what Steve does and get everything else out of the way. So one of the great things was Steve wasn't also very organized. That wasn't a strong characteristic of his. So I kind of played the organizational guy and kept this in order, and he would just do what he does. So there was this one year, it was like the fourth quarter, and we had a bunch of stuff that we had to get done. We were planning our annual content conference, and we had budgets, and we had all these big, sort of projects, and I said, Steve, we just have to sit down for like half a day and get this stuff done. And he's like, well, you know what? I got this battle in Miami, and I got this, Kilt's kicking our ass again in Houston, and I can't stop down and do budgets and all this corporate shit. I gotta do monitors, I gotta get on the road, I gotta get on the front lines. He says, well, Steve, shit's not gonna get done by itself. We have to figure out time to do this. He goes, well, why don't you come to Denver? And he was always so proud of his home, whether it be the home that you guys shared together in Utah, or his Phoenix homes, or his home in Pine, Colorado, which was incredible. And by the way, a sidebar on that, for those of you who know Steve and have never seen his home, it's like impeccable. I was shocked. Not a thing is out of place. It's like perfectly, like he would walk around the house and like adjust things. Very OCD, which you never guess, but anyway. He said, well, why don't you come up to Denver, stay over at the house, we'll have dinner, and we'll spend a day working on all this stuff and we'll get it done. I go, okay, I'll do that. So we planned this trip. I was going to go up on a Friday, and that was the plan. So I booked my flight. I had traveled the entire week. He was on the road somewhere. I was on the road somewhere else. And I, flip around. As many of us know the saga of the Road Warrior. I put the clothing in my suitcase and I go back out to the airport and I get to Atlanta and I fly to Denver. And I land. And for those of you who have visited Steve's Pine, Colorado house, you also know that it is nowhere near Denver. It might as well be in another state. So I then embark in the car service ride up the mountain for 2 hours through the snow. But I'm in the car and I call Steve and I said I'm about 45 minutes away, just as a heads up. And he goes, great, well I just walked in the door. And I said, oh, where are you coming from? He goes, well, I just landed about an hour and a half ago. And I said, oh, well, that's a bummer. We should have just shared a car or something. Where are you coming from? And he goes, well, I was just in Atlanta all week. I said, oh, Atlanta, where I live? I mean, that's punch out the stop set right there. But I mean, there were so many, but that was the one that came to mind. But on a serious note, Steve was such a friend and an incredible mentor. And I loved every minute of working with him. And I know, like many of you guys, I think about the memories and the stories all the time. And this is endearing. So thank you for letting me share a little bit of